see what we can do with this equation as the last example of solving the absolute value equation. Now, in this instance, the expression that's inside the absolute value expression is a trinomial. But that doesn't change the truth of the fact that this quantity, if its absolute value is 1, then that quantity can only be 1 or negative 1, because the only quantities that have an absolute value of 1 are 1 or negative 1. So no matter how complex that expression looks, it's still the fact that that expression's value has to be the constant or the opposite of the constant, the negative of the constant. Absolute value of this quantity is equal to 1, so that quantity is equal to 1 or negative 1. So I can write that and create my two separate equations, and then solve those equations, whatever type of equation they are. And in this instance, they're both quadratic equations again. So let's solve them one at a time. Let's solve this one by first subtracting 1 from both sides to put it in standard form. That would give me the equation x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. And let's see if we can factor that trinomial. I think we can probably handle that. To get a minus 2, you'd have to have 1 plus and 1 minus in your binomials. X times x to make the x squared. How about a 2 there and a 1 there? That would give me the minus 2 under the L-foil. Oh, that's not going to quite give me the plus x, though, is it? It would have to be plus 2 and minus 1 to give me a plus x, wouldn't it? This would give me minus 1x for the O-foil, plus 2x for the I-foil, which would give me the plus 1x. So what are my solutions now from this factored form? X could be negative 2, or x could be 1, in order to make 0 on the left side of the equation. Let's try this equation. We solve it by first putting it in standard form by adding 1 to both sides. Oh, that's nice. Look what happens when we add 1 to both sides. Doesn't the constant disappear? If you add 1 to negative 1, that's 0. You add 1 to negative 1, that's 0. And now I have a quadratic equation that only has the squared term and the first power term. It's missing the constant. And remember, when you have a quadratic equation missing the constant, we solve that by factoring. Each of those terms is divisible by the variable x. When I divide x squared by x, I have x. When I divide x by x divided by x is 1. A quantity divided by itself is equal to 1, with the exception of the quantity 0. You can't divide 0 by 0. And now I can solve by looking at those two factors. X could be 0, which would make that entire left-hand expression 0, or x could equal negative 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. 0 times the negative 1 would still give us 0. And we found in this case 4 solutions for that original absolute value equation.